Hello there! I decided to make a second first impressions of the Blade and Soul closed beta because I think I didn't really give it a fair chance the first time. If you see my first impression, it's basically me seeing the tits in this game, laughing, and then closing it. So I wasn't really expecting much, to be honest. But with the very awful 0.5.1 World of Warships patch being released, I ended up playing quite a lot of this game. And I'm very surprised, but the combat in this game is fucking amazing. Like, it's really well polished and made, and it's so much fun. And basically when they get the gameplay and the combat down, everything else kind of follows after. That's the one thing that's makes me want to keep playing the game. So I decided to make a second bit of this game, a more in-depth one, especially since some guys asked me, because I've been praising this game quite a bit lately, or well, praising the combat, which as you can see, I'm playing a destroyer, which is pretty much the closest thing to a gladiator I could find from Ion, except you can grapple in this as well, so you grab people and you slam them and such, and it's really fun. Like here I jump in, I grab him, I punch him, I face butt him or something, and then I knock him away. Just so many actions tied to so few buttons. And of course there's the graphics, which not just the character and weapon detail, like the axe looks fucking badass, and even if the armors are all incredible, well, a lot of them incredibly slutty, they are still incredibly detailed, and these worlds look amazing at times. And it's surprising like how good it looks. Because I have everything maxed, so well, it's not surprising that it looks good, but it runs really well. Because usually these MMOs are very processor or CPU dependent, but I'm still running my old i5 2500K. It's been overclocked to 4.6 gigahertz for like 3 years, but it's a really old CPU. My graphics card is good though, it's a 970 GTX, but still I'm surprised at how well this game is performing. And from a graphics point of view, we obviously have to go to the character creation, which is once again a fantastic thing in this game. It's so incredibly well done. You realize that they have put so much emphasis onto this part of the game to make you able to personalize your own character. You can switch the backgrounds, you can switch the poses, you can switch the lighting you want to use, you can compare it to other body types, and they basically made it so that those people who really want to test things are able to, or want to make their own character, are able to do it. Like, I'm spamming randomize here just to show you like all these options that are available, and when you look at like all these lists, all the things you can change, you quickly see just how many options you have. And I know people, especially some girls, who can probably spend hours and hours in this character creation, just making their ideal character. Well, not only girls, like there are so many. I've already seen from Korean and other servers that people have like recreated famous people, like celebrities and such, recreated them in the game, and I'm not surprised because this is very well done. And as the options, like, I'm just going through the presets to give you some ideas of these options. I'm going to go into them more depth in a bit, but it's just, honestly, it's amazing, because this is the kind of character creation you'd usually see in a single player game. The fact that they have added all these options to an MMO is very nice, because let's face it, character creation is always something, looking unique is always something that's desired in an MMO, because usually you end up with everyone looking the same. But I think in this game they have really nailed it with like getting people to look different. I need to turn down the skin gloss. For some reason every single character in this game always looks like it's been dipped in oil. It must be some sort of Asian MMO thing. And the hair types, there's a ton more of this in the store as well. There's like this cosmetic store, much like the Guild Wars 2 shop, where you can buy a ton of the different hairdos and stuff like that. And I think it's cool. Like, if they're gonna monetize something, monetize the appearances, because well, this game does have some sort of premium system, but I didn't use it. It existed in this beta as well. I didn't use it and I didn't notice any different. It might have an impact on the game later on, a high tier. It probably has like income and such, and XP gain is probably better with it. But I could level just fine without any issues without having it. So far, premium hasn't really been necessary. But most likely I will get it because I probably won't consider it that much of an investment. So it does exist, but so far I haven't really seen any of that blatant pay to win stuff at all, and as far as I've understood, that doesn't really even exist in the game. It's mostly just cosmetics and basically ease of use. Jesus, these eye options as well. Can't be ours, there's so many goddamn options. There's like even brow types. Yeah, well, normal brows, whatever. Like, Jesus. Yeah, that looks fine. Eyebrow and facial hair, can't be ours. Eyelashes, yeah, those ones look fine. Cosmetics, sure, that looks fine. You can even eyeliner, eyeshadow color, oh, and different facial decorations as well. Like, I could really easily see myself sinking hours into this thing, just creating different characters for shits and giggles, like even some that you won't even play. I can also imagine if they sell like these re-makeup kits like they did in Guild Wars 2 where you can redesign your character. I think they're gonna sell like fucking hotcakes because people will always get annoyed with some small part they want to change. Like, what the hell is this? You can you can change lip thickness. Well, Angelina Jolie, hello there. And like, there's some really weird things here, like nostril type and nostril height. Like, who even looks at the nostrils? But I guess for the people who really want that thing absolutely perfect, there's the option to do it. And you can even adjust jaws and everything, so it's nice. It's obviously nice. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's so insane how much it is for an MMO, and this part really impressed me. Body customization. Jesus, you can change everything from arm thickness to arm length to hand size, neck thickness. Oh, hello. Chest width. Well, that didn't do much. What about chest size? Let's change in armor. Oh, hello. Titty armor. This will work. Jesus. Okay, so they flat out have added a boob slider. I love the fact that they have no qualms about adding that. Usually games get really stitchy about adding something like that, but these guys just... Wait, is there a booty slider as well? Pelvis thickness. Oh, there is a booty slider. Holy shit. Okay, well that's a bit big for her. She's gonna have issues walking like that. That's a big fucking booty. Perhaps a bit too big. I'm actually really surprised the fact that they've added all this stuff, because usually games nowadays they try to be so politically correct and, oh no, we're not trying to sexualize women or anything, and this game kind of just goes like, whatever, we don't give a shit, you can do anything you want if you want to, we don't give a we don't give a shit, do whatever you want. And it's kind of actually refreshing that they give you the option to do this instead of like trying to limit it to certain parts they consider acceptable. But overall, this character creation has been just absolutely top notch. Like, even complexion you can change, what, it's just so much. And back to the PvE part of the combat, you actually run into quite a lot of these bosses. Basically, I'll be fighting quite a lot of them, and there's this option to fight them either... well, usually the quest recommends that you do them with 2 people, or that they might be challenging, but I like the fact that you can still do them with 1. They just require some more effort, some more dodging. Basically, there's more skill involved if you want to do them alone. They're not that hard per se, just you have to be a bit more careful with dodging attacks and such. And I really enjoyed that part, because I like soloing when I play. So just being able to solo grind and not being basically held back by the fact that you have to have a party to do something is really refreshing, and something I greatly enjoyed. Of course you can do it with a group and do it faster. Now, those 2 bosses were dungeon bosses, but there's also these world bosses. This uses the same system that Iron did with channels, or was it Guild Wars 2? Basically, I think both use it, but you can change channels if you don't find your quest mob, which is really handy. So if there's a lot of people grinding at one point, you switch channel and do it somewhere else. And these quest mobs boss mobs, they often give you this item that you need to upgrade your gear. Basically, the armor in this game doesn't actually give any stats. It's more of an outfit that you wear, and you have a ton of other accessories that you can upgrade using, like the epic ones. You can upgrade using the random ones you get as it drops, like this greens and blues that you usually tender or salvage in other games. In this game, you can use it to upgrade your epic ones, which I really enjoy, because usually you don't do anything with this, you just throw it away. Right now I haven't really seen much difference in these epic ones that you upgrade, but I assume that at higher ranks or higher levels there'll be more options. But right now it's been actually quite handy. You get quite happy when you get these random blues and greens, even if you can't use them, because you can use them to upgrade. Now it says that there's like a very successful, so I don't know if this is possible to fail or like crit or something, I have no idea. I basically knew nothing about this game before this beta, but it's been nice. And another option of customization, which I really enjoy, is the skill system. Basically, you get, every time you level, you get these points, and you can put them into your skills. Everyone of the same class gets the same skills, but then you can put points into them and change them. For example, my auto attack, I changed it from 3 meter AoE to 5 meter AoE, and you can like specialize into different skills. Like this basic cleave, you can change it into a much longer AoE. You can change it into a massive mighty cleave that does less AoE, and there's basically so many options available, and I really enjoy that, because it kind of reminds me of Guild Wars 2, where when you fight someone you had to know like all their different builds, because they could come at you with any build that or a build that can surprise you. So I think this game is going to have a lot of depth because of all these builds that people will develop and make up and design, and of course there's gear, you can use certain builds with certain gear and so forth. So I think it's basically, this game is going to be very deep and very enjoyable, and considering they've already nailed the combat so well, the fact that they also added this this is actually a good example. This skill, body kick, it's a kick that knocks someone over, but I've specialized that, so instead of knocking someone over, I throw an axe and pull the guy to me. So instead of being a kicking knockdown, it's like a pull. And basically these are the examples, or you can specialize into an AoE kick and stuff like that. I think it's fantastic that it gives you the customization, so you don't end up with everyone using the same build or the same spec, and you can use a bit of a dark horse build to surprise people, and I think that's a really good idea. Overall, I haven't had time to test them all the different options. I haven't PvP'd much at all, or really played much at all. It was just this weekend that I spent like maybe 10 hours playing it, but it was quite nice and quite convincing. Of course, the fact that the armor or the uniform doesn't really do anything also means that the designers have had complete freedom to create whatever they want, because they don't have to make armor that protects you, they can just make clothing. So the armor ranges from something that you might consider practical to this is the titty armor from earlier, to basically these absolutely ridiculous outfits. And once again, there's this whole Western MMOs trying to avoid sexualizing characters and all this, and this game just goes, you know what, we don't give a shit, we're gonna do whatever we want. I also like, by the way, that you can look at what these armors look at on different races. So you can see what an armor they all look a bit different on different races, which is a cool addition. But as you can see, some of these armors are just straight up fucking ridiculous, and they are in no way practical, and it's just blatant sexualization. But I don't even mind. I think it's funny that they simply don't give a shit. They don't even attempt to justify it. They just go, whatever, people like tits, we like tits, so here's a shit ton of armors that do this shit. And I mean, it's just are they supposed to be even practical in fighting in any way? No, but they are quite entertaining. So if someone's looking for some sort of lore friendly or whatever immersive, then it's gonna be pretty hard to find here, because this game is mostly about having fun, and I think they've succeeded quite well. But like, what the hell, this is like, there's even a school uniform here somewhere. Like, there's literally a school uniform. So, wait, let me see if I can find it. Scrolling down through these. Oh, bikini. Of course, there has to be a bikini. I think this is in the cash shop. I'm not surprised. I already see people wearing it. Like, big surprise. People are gonna buy this shit. But whatever. They don't care. They make money. What the hell was that? I need. What the hell is that? But yeah, here's the school outfit. Like, are you supposed to take that character seriously when it comes swinging an axe at you in PvP? But they don't even attempt to take it seriously. Like, they even make fun of themselves in many of the cutscenes. They're like, the game is supposed to be fun, and I think they do a really good job of making it fun. Even if some of these armors are flat out ridiculous, it still just makes you laugh. Because they make no notions, no attempts at like role playing or anything serious. It's there for fun. You go there and beat the shit out of things and people and monsters and whatever, and you have fun. And it's a pretty refreshing approach to an MMO, in my opinion. Oh, that's the one I used to adjust the booty. I guess this is some of the higher level stuff. I have no idea what these armors are. I'm just clicking through. You can preview all the wardrobe shit. But of course, what do the armors then do? Or well, the clothing, since they're technically not armors. They actually adjust how you're seen by the rest of the world. For example, this armor I'm wearing now, it's a cerulean uniform, and there's two factions in this game. You can choose one or the other. And if you wear this faction uniform, then everyone who wears the other faction uniform is basically red for you, marked for PvP. So there's like spontaneous world PvP depending on which uniform or which faction you have joined. It's like Horde and Alliance, except you're leveling in exactly the same spots and you're doing exactly the same shit. So when I first got the uniform, I had no idea. I just thought it looked cool, so that's the one I picked. Suddenly I started like getting ganked the shit on and just having constant fights while questing. So I wondered what the hell was going on, and I decided to actually read the description for once in my life, and figured out that this uniform, just putting it on, turns it into PvP. And it's a nice idea because it's instant to put on, but it takes a few seconds to take off. So if you see some people fighting, you can put your uniform on and join them. And I've seen quite a few like small battles develop into these huge brawls as more and more people put their uniform on and join like their side of the faction and battle it out. So it's a pretty like a cool solution to this. Then there are the quests like this one I'm doing. You can only pick up this quest if you're wearing your faction uniform. And this quest sends you to an area where there are basically NPCs of both factions, and depending on which faction you are, the red ones are of course your enemies and the other ones are your allies, and you both are here to like gather the same stuff. So in this way the game encourages world PvP, because if the other faction guy shows up there, then I have to fight them and so forth. So it's a pretty interesting idea of like encouraging faction PvP. And then there's the arena. This is the 1v1 arena. It's the first couple of times I got absolutely demolished because I literally have no idea what any classes do and what anyone does here. And there's also the fact that everyone else had played this game a shit ton more than me, so they're all much higher level. Like this guy is level 30. I'm boosted to level 24 from level 21. And this means that he has a lot more skills, he has a lot more skill points and all this. And this isn't like Guild Wars 2, where when you enter this arena, you automatically gain like all the level 50 skills. You don't gain any skills or any skill points. The only thing you get is like the stats equivalent, so you're both at the same stat points. But the other guy obviously has a huge skill and skill point advantage. I showed you how you can like specify your skills, so having more points is obviously a huge advantage. So someone looking to play this game only for structured PvP will have to level. There's simply no option. Your disadvantage is too huge. Luckily though, it took me some time to get down to this system, but the combat is so smooth. This is on a EU server, so you have to. There's a lot of like reactionary stuff in this PvP, which is what makes it so good in my opinion. There's like constant counter parrying, counter knockdowns, It's a ton of counters, and basically every time you're CC'd, you're knocked down, you're stunned, you're grabbed, your normal skill bar changes to a skill bar that represents the status you're in. Like if you're knocked down, your 1, 2, 3 or well multiple points change to these other skills you can use, like counters or evasions and such. And if you're grabbed, they once again change. If you're grabbed in the air, they change. So you have to, like, even though the buttons don't seem like a lot, there are actually a ton of different skills that you have to choose between. Like here I'm using a counter. He knocked me down, so I used the counter. When he attacked me, I knocked him back down. And now I'm blocking his attacks. And now spinny, and now I get a grab on him. I grab him and I knock him down. And I just keep slamming into him. Now I use the retreat. You saw he knocked me down, but I instantly use this. It's kind of like a stun break, except that if you don't use it fast enough, you don't get the stun break. So there's like playing this with a high latency will probably be very frustrating because you will miss many of your like counter windows. And people who don't enjoy Twitch combat will not enjoy this game at all, because this is very Twitch like. You have to react really quickly to a lot of skills. Like there I was too slow, so he continued his combo. I could have broken that combo if I was fast enough. This time I was fast enough to break out of the follow-up. But basically if you're slow, you can just get comboed and comboed and comboed and comboed. And it was very frustrating at the start. But once you start getting the hang of it, it turns really, really fun. Like, I really started enjoying it because they have... This is the lobby, by the way. This is what it looks like. You can look for 1v... You see on the right, you can look for 1v1 or tag team. Tag team is 3 versus 3, or well, it's technically 1 versus 1. But you can switch out between teammates, and you can join in 2 versus 1 or 2 versus 2 at a time. It's kind of cool. And it's kind of fresh, or well, a new type of combat. And I quite enjoyed it. Also enjoyed the different type of 1v1 arenas you have. This is again the Blade Master. The last guy was level 30. This guy is level 33. And you can see, even though he's the same class, you'll see that he has spec into completely different skills. Like, what the fuck is this? This flying swords and shit he has. He's obviously using a different spec, so it looks like a completely different class. So there's a lot of stuff to learn to get good at this game, I think. And that's probably why I think it's so fascinating or so interesting, because I countered him. He's blocking, or he's trying to parry me, so I grabbed him and I knocked him down. This Blade Master, one thing I figured out is that they have a lot of parries, and if you attack into their parry, then they instantly counter you, and then you get completely butt-fucked. And if they get the CC chain on you, then you're really screwed. There you see, he deflected it, stunned me, and then he threw me in the air, and then basically this huge combo. So you really have to learn this shit. This time I countered him, and I managed to grab him after I threw him down. And this, once again he parried and stunned me. But I got my block up, so I blocked the majority of his shit, and now I'm beating the hell out of him. It's fun, and it's probably very confusing to see for someone who hasn't played it. Like, I don't even know what all these other characters do, so it's still even confusing for me to play. But it's a shit ton of fun. It's the combat and the skills are so responsive, so quick. There's no delay, there's no input lag. It's just as soon as you press something, it happens. And if you're really quick and you manage to break out of something fast, it feels really good. It's very satisfying. It's one of the most satisfying types of combat. Like, probably some of the best MMO combat I've played ever. It's much more fun than Guild Wars 2 combat ever was. And unlike Ion, it doesn't have like all these animation locks, which lock your character in place when you do skills. It's just a lot of fun. At first it seems like a CC mess, but then when you realize that every character has multitudes of ways of getting out of the CC if they're fast enough, then you start realizing it's actually really, really skill based and really, really fun. This time I tried to parry, I grabbed him and knocked him down. If people are blocking or stunned or parrying, then you can grab them and do a bunch of grappling moves. I countered him, he countered me and knocked me down. And now he's CCing me and stunned me. What happened there was basically I countered him, then he countered me, and then I countered him, or whatever. It's like Now I managed to grab him and do a combo on him because all his counter skills were on cooldown. At least that's what I think is what happened. I have no idea. I haven't played this game enough to know. There you saw that icon that flashed up real quick. That was my ability to basically break out of the knockdown he put me in. You only get it for like a second or a split second, and you have to use it quick. If you don't, then you're fucked, and it doesn't go off, and then you get comboed. It's very much combo based. It feels like more like a fighting game than an MMO, but it's a lot of fun to play. And I've really been tempted to try these different classes and such, because I was so skeptical about this game to begin with, but the more I play this combat, the more I'm falling in love with the game, because the combat is just great. Like, I even find myself when I'm running around with my character from one quest to the other, I find myself randomly grinding mobs simply because I enjoy beating them. I enjoy like beating the shit out of the mobs on the way, because the combat really is that satisfying. You feel powerful, you feel like a goddamn hero when you do it, like a martial artist or whatever. Oh Jesus. And this shows what's the problem with trying to do PvP when you're only level 21. You end up against a level 41 Kung Fu Master who has all the ways to break out of your CC and all the ways to CC combo you to shit, and you have absolutely no ways of countering it. Here you can see, this is Kung Fu Master, and he's just gonna combo the shit out of me. He's basically reaming my asshole apart here. It's constant counters, constant everything. Like, I spend more time in the air and CC than I do actually fighting him. The worst part is I have absolutely no idea what this character does. It wasn't until I died, think I hear, when I looked at his level and saw that it was level 41. So basically, I'm basically facing a character I have no idea what he does, and he has like twice my level. So this is just a brutal smackdown where he absolutely just toys with me and completely shits on me. But even when it happens, I still think it looks so goddamn cool. Like, apparently Kung Fu Master is one of the hardest classes to play. Like, it's very high skill cap, but if you master it, it's incredibly powerful. And basically, looking at the way this guy is rimming me apart, I understand what they mean, that if you master it, it probably just shits on people, which makes it once again a very interesting class for me. I tried to counter him there, it didn't work. I think he predicted it or something. He's resisting my stuns, and he's just basically stun locking and seizing the shit out of me. I got one knockdown on him, but he instantly countered, and now I'm airborne again. Like, Jesus Christ. Got a stun on him. Oh, got another stun. Tried to grab him, and he broke out with some sort of freeze counter. I have no idea what that even was. But I only lost one, like, ranking point because he was so much higher rank and so much higher level than me. Oh, and one last thing, what I noticed when I was about to quit. You can apply target markers to people here. This is something I missed so much in Guild Wars 2. This was in Ion, and it was so good for marking like friendly healers, friendly tanks and stuff like that in World PvP. So the fact that you can do it here is so nice. I have no idea why Guild Wars 2 didn't do that, but hey, this game has it, which is great. Oh, and one nice last thing, when you quit, you actually get a box that tells you how much XP, how much money, what kind of items you have gotten, and how many quests you finished. Which is a nice little add-on. It lets you know like how effective you are. I also worry if it tells you how shit your game was. Anyways, that was my Blade and Soul commentary.